Welcome to Bring on the Sunshine, Shining Light on Autism Spectrum Disorder, General Assumptions and Essential Supports. During this session, participants will learn 3 general assumptions to make when working with students with ASD and an overview of essential support strategies to implement. During the last session, we reviewed the characteristics of ASD. It's important to remember that these characteristics are not the same across individuals and that every student with ASD has different strengths, interests, and dreams. We must never forget the individual first. Now, making assumptions isn't always a good thing, but there are some general assumptions that can be made when working with students that have ASD. Today, we'll review 3 of those general assumptions. General assumption number 1. Students with ASD are visual learners. Visual learners prefer using images and they see pictures in their mind instead of words. So think about it as being thinking in pictures. General assumption number 2. Students with ASD are literal learners. Figurative language is a mystery for a student with ASD. So phrases such as, pick up the pace, give it a shot, it's raining cats and dogs, are very difficult for them to understand because students with ASD are literal learners. Even though the students may have a difficult time comprehending the meaning of these phrases, it's important to still teach the differences between literal and non-literal language. You never know when they will hear a phrase in a movie or during a conversation with another person. Let me give you another example of how a student with autism may respond to figurative language. Let's say, for example, you tell your student, "You're a smart cookie." Your student may respond, "I'm not a cookie, I'm a human." Keep in mind that students with ASD are literal learners. General assumption number 3. Students with ASD need consistency and predictability. Having a sense of structure will help a student know what to expect throughout the day. This will help students feel reassured that they know what will happen next. Visual schedules provide the structure and predictability the student may need. We will talk more in future sessions about visual schedules and visual supports. As you can see in this picture, this is a visual schedule that can provide consistency and predictability to a student. And this next slide is an example of a visual schedule that a student can keep in their binder. In addition to these general assumptions, we must keep in mind that there are some essential support strategies that should be implemented in order to effectively support students with autism in their school setting. When we go into schools, we want to see students with disabilities being integrated with their peers as often as possible. In order to prepare students for this, some of these essential supports may have to be implemented. Again, we must keep in mind individual needs and how these supports can be implemented for the individual. The first essential support is visual supports. Maybe a student needs a class-wide visual schedule to provide consistency and predictability throughout his day. The teacher in this picture even uses a now card to show the student the class they're currently in. Next essential support strategy is priming, and priming is just another word for preparing. The teacher primes the student for the upcoming day by reviewing his daily schedule during morning meeting. The teacher also primes her class for an upcoming field trip to the insectarium by showing them different insects they will see, riding the bus, and behavior expectations while they are off campus. Essential support number 3 is form of communication. All students need to have a form of communication. They should have their own voice, like peers and adults around them. By having a form of communication, they can participate in lessons and they can request their wants and needs. Our next essential support is accommodations and modifications. Providing appropriate accommodations and modifications is crucial for the students to engage with their peers in class and increase their learning. Essential support strategy number 5 is reinforcement. Students with ASD may not favor typical reinforcers like most students. You may have to conduct preference assessments to determine what motivates them. This will help you as a teacher determine what to use as reinforcers. You may have a student that will work for a wagon ride, like in the picture. Operating under these general assumptions and keeping these essential supports in mind is important. If you look at the picture on your screen, this is our ultimate goal. Our ultimate goal is everyone integrated together in one setting, socializing with all students. In this picture, you cannot tell which one is a student with or without the disability. In order for our students to be included and for us to reach our ultimate goals, we have to be able to implement these essential support strategies.